as well. So that we
I didn't realize
yeah.
that. Oops. Okay.
That's creepy.
So should we like reintroduce?
So I guess sports that I've done, I started with t-ball. I've done basketball for 9 years. I've been ice skating since I was 4 years old. I've rode motocross, tried surfing, you name it. I've played at tennis in high school, shot put.
No? Because I'm seriously confused for a second.
Oh, no, we're good.
Oh, no.
What did you play?
It didn't.
I played softball for 12 years, soccer for 4. I tried basketball, but it was too much running for me.
I did ballet, tap, and jazz for 6 years. I did softball for 11 years. I tried tennis, and that didn't work out. No soccer. And then basketball and football were just with, like, my family and the boys, but no teams.
Yeah, that's what I pretty much
Intramural.
do. Like, if, like, I'm at a park, beach, whatever, I could do volleyball, baseball, but I never did any team sports, just because my school didn't really, have it like that, so.
So, I did soccer for about, 5 years, but that was,
You did?
yeah, it was, kids school, kindergarten.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. And then I did Boy Scouts for
Oh, and Girl Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
Did you all do Girl Scouts?
I did
For about-
Girl Scouts.
for a good 10 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I made Eagle Scout, so. that's good.
Nice.
And yeah, it's really important for our generation to enforce your generation to stay physically active beginning at a very young age. I mean, it is so important. We cannot stress it enough. We all would not be physically as strong as we are right now if our parents didn't allow us to try the things that we tried, because it was kind of like up in the air. Like our doctors said, don't overexert yourself, but don't, do this or don't try that, or maybe just do it or whatever. We didn't really have too much, what's the word I'm looking for?
Limitations on sports. I mean, I think we all kind of went in and just
Tested it.
tested
so
Like
it.
we're the testers, yeah.
Well, it's
And
all
so-
basics of knowing our own limits.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We all have
Every-
our own specialties.
Which
We
Every
all
individual
know
for the parents that are
how to
watching,
push.
your children will understand their limits. It will. There will
They'll
be a
feel
fine line where they can feel it, and at that point is when they need to act on it. Until then, I think they should push themselves as far as they can until they do feel it.
Right.
I mean, there's a point where you're running or you're playing that sport, and you just know, all right, it's time for water or time for me to,
Relax.
just relax or sit down. And they definitely will feel it. I don't want you to, confine them to a box, because most doctors tell you to not really
Do
push,
anything.
not let them do anything.
Right.
Like I was told not to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's obviously not the case now.
Well, in some cases, during early development,
Yeah.
basic sports, if someone wants to start, t-ball,
Mhm.
you gotta
Yeah.
make sure the doctor can go with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And you
that's
don't know. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's a little kind of common sense a little bit, because if like I had my last surgery when I was 5, so if my mom wouldn't put me in a sport
Yeah.
at school at 5
At
or
6
6
or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you have to. Every individual is different.
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know if you don't try. And that's the whole thing. What is the worst, this might sound bad, but what is the worst that can happen if your child passes out or gets a heat stroke trying softball or trying soccer or trying basketball? We've all been through that, and we're alive. This is not a death sentence anymore. It's not a death sentence to try to see where your limitations are, but it is a long-term death sentence to hide from all of that and
bubble your kids.
and to bubble your child and to hinder them from experiencing life and experiencing all the physical activity that they need to survive in their adult lives. I can't stress that enough. Did you guys want to say anything else about sports or?
No, I
Physical-
think
physical
I love
activity.
it. I think it's awesome. I think every kid should, try to find something
Try
that fits their
something.
niche.
Find your limit and
Yeah.
do it.
And if you are a parent starting out with a child that is just getting introduced into sports, my cardiologist recommended that one of the best sports to start with is golf. Forget the cart and just go straight to the green. That way you can walk between hole to hole. and it's just easy, nice, relaxing cardio, and it just is going to build up that stamina. That's one of the best recommendations that I got as a starting out in the sports with a CHD.
What about running?
And my recommendation was, sorry, I'll
Come back.
was was t-ball in the beginning and softball long term, because my pediatric cardiologist told my mom I can stop at bases and I don't have to run for practices. And this is a joke I always say, but I was always the one kid who did not want to get a home run because if I got a home run, I was like, no, yeah, because then I'd have to run all around all of the things. So go ahead.
Yeah, so like, what about running? I'm asking a question to everyone, but like, you said golf would be a good basic, but like, what if another step would be jogging?
Okay, my research and the accumulation of knowledge that I have from different doctors and stuff like that, basically, jogging slowly gets your heart rate up. Walking is even slower than that, and that's what's best for us is walking. And then running, it gets your heart rate up so fast, so like instantly, that our hearts can't really keep up with that. It's like our hearts are just like chilling, and then all of a sudden it's like boom,
So
and
if we're, like,
that's
running
not good.
ourselves up to it.
So walk,
So we go from
jog.
jog,
You need to train
right.
yourself very carefully.
Yeah.
It's I don't know about you guys, but it's always been kind of across the board, like no strenuous running.
No long
Yeah,
distance
no.
Running has always been like biking is very recommended.
Biking and the
Swimming.
elliptical
Swimming.
is probably one of the best gym workout machines that you can use. The elliptical works our hips, and most of us have, scoliosis, which I know Meg and I both have. So that also helps a lot. I've done CrossFit before, and I've trained with a trainer and have lifted weights to the point where, I can feel it, but that's when you know to stop.
Well, I lifted weights and I had to stop because I felt with the weights on my back
Oh,
and
no.
compressed 4 discs. So can't do that anymore.
way.
Because of your scoliosis.
Should we go to the next question?
Yes. I just reloaded my page.
See if we got any more questions coming in.
Okay, it was something about transplant. Okay, have you had complications after the Fontan, Megan?
Yes. Mine wasn't really due to the surgery. It was more of a nurse error. My surgeon was out of the country at the time, and they took out my fluid tubes too early. So then I filled up with fluid and had to stay another month and a half at the hospital. So it wasn't really due to surgery. It was more of a operator error, I guess, I would say.
Yeah, I've never had any other complications after the Fontan. Post all open heart surgeries, I haven't had the need for a defibrillator, pacemaker. They were considering a stent or balloon placement if my veins were narrowing, but I haven't needed that either. So all is good right now, other than cardiac caths, MRIs, and liver biopsies all the time, and the occasional stress test, which we're all fans of.
Oh, yeah.
But what's our next question, guys?
The next one is, has the transplant subject ever been mentioned to you guys? I think yes, across the board.
Yep.
From birth,
From
really.
young.
It was, I was one of the first Fontans, which all of us are. In my region, in Cincinnati, Ohio, I was one of the first Fontans. So what that means is it was a transplant, or it was all of a sudden they discovered the Fontan while I was either on the transplant list or about to be on the transplant list. And so then they did the Fontan, and then they were saying transplant maybe in your teens, transplant or death in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. They kept pushing it. So I stopped listening. And so personally, yes, it's always been a subject for me. Is it going to happen? I have no idea. That's my answer.
I haven't had anything until about a couple years ago. They mentioned that I could have it in my 40s or 50s, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah. I've never been talked to about a transplant yet. it's never been kind of a subject that the doctors brought up. It's been mainly just trying to improve the longevity of the life and the heart that I have now by, following strict rules as a strict diet, taking medication, and lots and lots and lots of water. Every doctor is in love with prescribing water. And if you do drink water, I always recommend this when parents ask me questions or kids ask me questions, what do you do? How do you make yourself feel better? If I drink a bottle of water, the first thing I do in the morning when I open my eyes, I drink a bottle of water. It's like recharging my entire body. I wake up, I feel great. It gets my blood flowing from laying straight all night and flat. It just gets it pumping and flowing. It's probably one of my favorite things. I feel great from it. You guys?
Even just normal people should actually just do that.
Yeah.
It's not us alone. Everyone should be doing that.
Yeah.
And what about you?
Transplant?
The transplant subject, has that ever come up for you?
It did, but I think it was more so of that was the general consensus. They were like, oh, in the future, you guys might need either more surgery in your teens and then maybe a transplant. So that they were just following suit. But recently, I haven't heard anything about a transplant, just the Fontaine revision.
And we all don't have pacemakers.
No, none of us
have pacemakers.
Sorry, put that in
None of
No
us have
pacemakers.
Has any of us had revisions since we were...
No
No.
revisions.
All of us are originals.
No.
Oh,
Yes. I guess we should say what hospital we were at. I was at CHOP.
I was at Cincinnati, Ohio. All of my surgeries were.
University of Michigan Mott Children's Hospital.
I had mine at Montefiore in New York.
Mine was in Michigan. I don't know where though.
Probably five.
He's really
Yeah,
helpful.
probably. But as for my transplant thing, they
Gosh, we...
yeah
Skipped him.
they
yeah, hello, I'm back here.
Let's switch.
they recommended that I don't do it. That it's too risky and
Okay.
somehow being too young.
Mhm.
But
Oh, yeah.
recently, I was diagnosed to possibly have my 4th open heart surgery. The valve was too large, and apparently that this was a risky surgery as well because they've never performed it. Well, they said they haven't. Well, it's not on record, and they didn't even have a name for it. I was like, oh, I want to name it. Yeah. But then all of a sudden they were just dropping in. They're like, let's take it slower, see if it gets worse or what happens next.
And so another very common question is roller coasters.
My favorite.
I've never... Oh, wait. No, I went on one, Snoopy roller coaster when I was 8. And I freaked out and never returned.
You're a pro.
I know, right?
She's a pro.
I'm a pro.
I love adrenaline. I think I am the adrenaline junkie in the group. I will do anything. I love roller coasters going upside down. I want to skydive, but they won't let me, but I'll find a way. I want to zip line. I surf. I did motocross.
Zip lining is awesome.
Anything. Nothing stops me. Those rides at the beach where it's like you're in that little ball and it's like a magnetic force and it slingshots you up. Oh, I'll do that on repeat. I love it. So obviously every case is different. Every child is different. Ask your doctor before doing it. But I am fine when I do it. I don't feel lightheaded. I don't get dizzy. I don't get nauseous. I don't turn purple or blue or whatever the symptoms that they're scared of. The only reason I cannot skydive is because of the force on the fall down will cause me to black out. I'll find a way. Because I want to skydive. So,
I'm not a fan of roller coasters anyway.
Yeah, me neither. I'm
just
afraid of
not-
heights.
Yeah, don't like it.
So, but I mean, I have been on one or two,
Yeah.
and it's just too scary. I don't feel really bad how they would say, but there's a reason why it says, if you have heart issues, you shouldn't go, because I kind of feel a little something, but it's not to the point that I feel sick,
Yeah.
So it's definitely case by case.
What it was for me was, I just remembered another one I went on when I was 14. And because I tried a little baby one and then I tried a big one. And what it was for me is that I couldn't breathe. And so it all of a sudden it's like you're here and then it's like, shoom! And I was like, ah!
Yeah.
And I don't think I breathed for, I don't know, I don't know. But at the end I was like, I never do that again! What just happened? So you're a soldier.
Yeah.
I like it.
And what about
I like the crazy.
I used to love roller coasters. I still do. They're freaking amazing.
Yes.
When I lived up in Ohio, there was this place called
Kings Island.
And I loved it. Until recently, they told me not to do any more upside down roller coasters. It was a dream killer. But, it's still.
That's a random
Yeah.
side note that we were talking about earlier. That's really not in the questions, but we've been kind of mentioning it in and out, is the upside down thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of us have heard from our doctors that we're not allowed to be upside down. So
Everyone but me.
if
be
you
exact.
so if you've never heard that before, ask your doctors about
Yeah.
it. See if it pertains to your child or yourself if you're watching as a CHDer.
Yeah. That was news to me today when they're like, "Oh, we're not supposed to be upside down." I was like, "Well, I just did a yoga position today, upside down for a good couple minutes." So I'll ask my doctor.
Another extremely popular question.
Whoa.
Tattoos.
Yes, tattoos.
I do not have tattoos at all.
Nor do I.
I have 2.
Two.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's show tattoos.
So I've heard that.
Tattoo show?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, oh my
So-
god.
So,
Okay. So I
Wait, can I even show?
this one.
so I've heard like during like before the tattoos you have to take an antibiotic. Is
I-
that
That's
a
what I was
procedure?
told.
Amoxicillin.
Amoxicillin.
I did not.
I did not do
I just
that.
went in, they're like, do this, and they did it.
Yeah, I didn't do that either.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was fine both times. I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Still here.
I
Still
wasn't
here.
I wasn't on any blood thinners or any medications at all at the time, and I didn't really know that we should check with our cardiologist. So I was like 18, so my first one was 18 and then early 20s.
Yeah.
And I was fine. They're both really small. Let me go around and show. I want to show my tattoos.
Show and tell. Welcome.
Hold on. Cause
Just crawl across.
can I see?
Yeah.
Yes, right there.
Yes.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
So they're little. Just keep a little
Keep
Keep
it
it
little.
small.
and ask.
Well, for me,
And definitely
not
ask
so
him.
much.
Yeah, yours are big.
Yeah, yours are really big.
Yeah.
And then I
Oh,
got this,
and wear sunscreen.
I got this one.
wear sunscreen.
Yours
Uh,
get like pretty red.
Oh my god.
do you want to, okay, so I'll just go ahead and say it. So I've had a couple questions about, ADD and CHD. So, for CHD people, some of us have ADD and ADHD. And, I've had a few questions about, like, the experience with that, and, he would like to talk about it a little bit.
What
If you wanna
questions
just-
do you have?
Basically, just like what is it? How do you deal with it? Does it interfere with I don't know, your heart at all, or
Well, I'm pretty sure about 60% of the population has ADD.
talk a little bit louder.
60%. 60% of the population has ADD. It sometimes generally comes from the CHD, but when you're on ADD and then you have the CHD, it becomes kind of a problem. Because the medication you get from the ADD can really drain you.
Okay.
Because the medication that they gave me can make me drowsy, nauseous, always tired, grumpy.
Right, and so that's a good point. Does any of the medications for ADD or ADHD interfere with CHD medications?
That I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
Because whenever I was taking them, my cardiologist was fine with it.
Okay.
But
I would have him check.
yeah,
Sure.
it depends on what your symptom is
Yeah.
and what kind of medication they're throwing you. You know,
Okay. Right.
it's just
Because
all the possibilities that they have. You know,
and that kind of leads us into more questions we have a lot about our medications.
right?
And I think this generation now is a bit more medicated than we were. We didn't have all of the surgeries and all the medications that are around,
Today.
today. And so we weren't on a million medications when we were infants or even now,
Yeah.
even ever.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think the most medications I've ever been on in my life is a diuretic when I was little and 2 heart medications after my heart surgery.
Yeah.
I stopped heart medications when I was 6 years old. And my Coumadin, I stopped when I was 11. And I'm supposed to still be taking aspirin. But other than that, I take vitamins. You guys want to cover your meds?
I take Toprol, half twice daily. Did I say that right?
You obviously see how good we are.
Just one basically, but I don't know why I gotta break it up into anyway. That's whatever. I'm going out on a rant. But I take that and then another one for my water retention. So yeah.
I only take an aspirin.
Oh, and the baby aspirin.
yeah, and the baby aspirin.
That's like a
Yeah, I'm prescribed Lasix.
Lasix.
But it's like as needed for the once a month thing as a woman. But I haven't taken it in like a year. So
yeah. I kind of
it's
choose
kind of a choice at this point.
Like if I feel bloated, like if I kind of feel it.
Because it's really hard on the kidneys. So if you guys, if you have a child that's on a diuretic for X amount of years, I would do your own research and kind of question it a little bit because it is really hard on the kidneys. And
So medication wise, as everyone else, I'm on the aspirin. Now I react a bit differently to aspirin. They bruise really easily, as do I. When I'm on the aspirin, I bruise a lot faster and a lot more. So the aspirin I take is actually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I skip it the entire week before the Women's Month because it just makes the problem 10 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
10 times worse. So the aspirin stops that time. I'm also on heart medication, and then I was recently taken off of and or cut down from my liver medication because due to a great liver biopsy in the past year, they told me that it was not needed anymore. So just heart medication, and then obviously vitamin D and vitamin C, which are awesome. They make us feel great. We actually love that. Other than that, it's really just the aspirin is the most important thing to make sure that we're not clotting. Because clotting is causing strokes.
Yep.
So
What do you take?
we're on the same ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I take 20 milligrams of Cinepril. It's a blood pressure medication. And then I take still baby aspirin.
Yeah.
I don't do vitamins. I don't know why I don't.
We can have some of ours. We'll share.
Yeah.
Passing around drugs today.
Yep.
Let's see. More questions that we have a lot about are probably depression. May be the next, the biggest subject.
Should we get into it?
You wanna go first? Or you
Yeah.
wanna- I don't.
I guess depression has never been an issue with me. I think it was more of high school is going to be high school, middle school is going to be middle school, kids are going to be kids. We talked about this earlier as girls in breakfast that kids are going to find a way to bully you no matter heart condition or no heart condition. And to be honest, you don't need to shelter your kids from it. You just need to, keep reinforcing that the way they are is, the cards that they were dealt, and just because these are the cards that are dealt, somebody is dealt a different hand of cards, and at the end of the day, we're still people, and we're going to get teased, and I think it's just going to happen no matter what. So depression's never been an issue. Obviously, yes, it's been rough being, teased in middle school was probably the hardest, but other than that, kids are going to find a way to tease you no matter what.
If you hide your CHD, you hide your scars, they're going to get on you for your glasses, or your braces, or your face, or your nose, or your eyes aren't in the right place.
Mine was my nose.
Or the
your
clothes
arms,
you're wearing.
your clothes, your height.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Kids are kids. Get out.
It doesn't. Yeah. At this point,
don't focus on that too much.
Yeah. Yes, I hit the scar. I hit the scar until I was probably 17 or 18. So I probably graduated high school because I was self-conscious about the scar. But that's okay. That's normal. Because it is different, and society tells us when you're different, it's not as fun or not as cool, or you're looked down upon. So that's okay, but embrace it. You learn how to embrace it, you learn how to become your own eventually, and that's completely fine, and that's completely normal. So if you are a child, or you are a parent to a child that is going through that, and that kind of identity and who am I with the scar, it's really okay. They're gonna work through it. We're all okay now.
And save
we
it.
all don't care.
And now we really don't care.
Yeah,
we
save
don't care.
it for your teens. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna go through your depression as your teens,
Yeah.
and then as your 20s, like everybody just said it out loud. We don't care
Yeah, it's
anymore.
not a
It's
problem.
not like that.
It's definitely was the high school, middle school
Yeah.
phase. It's
yeah,
a phase.
it's a phase.
Yeah.
If anything, it's like the coolest thing ever. Like, who gets a scar?
Yeah, as a guy, what did I tell
As
you
a
guys?
guy,
What did I tell you guys
as a
earlier? As a
Yeah.
guy, it's
Guy.
the coolest thing ever because girls are like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, and as girls, we're like, oh my gosh.
Because guys
We
see
don't-
us
yeah.
as like, oh god, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's baggage. That's like not damaged, but like that's just like baggage. Where girls want to nurture the guy, blah blah blah. I'm just gonna do a side note on the depression subject for me. All I'm gonna say for that is if you have. I had a lot of problems with depression my whole life because of my childhood in a nutshell. So if you want to know more about that, feel free to check out my page and my YouTube page, and I have a million videos on there. A lot of them about depression. That's what I'm going to say for myself.
Same. I have the same thing.
Yeah, I never
Videos.
kind of like Chelsea. Never really dealt with depression or anything. I kind of hit the scar when I was younger, and just try to stay to myself and stuff like that. And people tease me for all sorts of things, so didn't really matter. And yeah, I didn't.
I kept getting a stupid question was, if I punch you in the chest, will you go into cardiac arrest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that might happen.
Yeah, it might happen.
Might happen.
I mean, we're not going to try tonight, but.
We are not testing that theory.
So what about you with depression? I mean, have you had any?
I didn't really have any side effects. Like, people would always ask them, like, this is what it is.
Okay.
You know what I did want to say though, like I did have like times where I would get sad, not like depressed, not like clinically depressed, but I would be like sad, and I would be like, because I would want to do certain things, and then I'll be like, but I can't, like physically, like I just felt bad.
A lot of what
And
I
then-
talk. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, and then I would just get over it.
Yeah, I think I was the same way. I think the point of like was when I was the worst point was probably when you were told like you're not allowed to have kids, because obviously that's
Right.
everyone's goal. We all want to have children, and at that point, but you understand that once again, this is what we have. People have it way worse than what we have right now, so you just got to keep reinforcing that
Yeah.
we're completely blessed. And also, I had great reinforcement from my parents. Were always super supportive. If I wanted to hide it, there wasn't pushing an outfit on me that did show it.
About
Go
the kids thing, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it'll be awesome to adopt.
Yeah.
Just saying, I love
I
to
would
adopt.
love to
Yeah.
adopt. Yeah.
Just because we can't have them doesn't mean it'll be nice to adopt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I wanted to say about the depression thing again was kind of touching on what she was saying was a lot of times when our minds cannot keep up. When our bodies cannot keep up with our minds, kind of along the lines of what she was saying. That's kind of where the chaos inside of us feels like
It's like a roadblock.
confined, like you're suffocating, like I don't have anywhere to go because my body can't keep up with what my mind wants to do. I'm very intelligent. I can do this, 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 and this, but my body is not able to do this, this, and this. I can only do this and this.
Yeah.
And so for me, that is where writing comes in for me, and everybody has their different outlets, and that's where the creative part of us
Yeah.
is developed, honestly.
The other
So-
depression part is that we're not as catched up as normal people. We may not be as fast as normal people. We can't always be up and running as fast as normal people. People can run 8-minute miles. We end up stuck in 13-minute miles.
I am a 13-minute miler. Yes.
It's
Never
just-
gonna get any faster.
Some people could be depressed about that, but it's you.
Yeah.
You choose on how you feel on certain things like that. Because if you're a slow runner, you're a slow runner. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. And we just got an awesome question in. So, what was the best thing your parents did to prepare you for living with HLHS? And is there anything you wish they had done differently? Who wants to start
Whoa,
that one?
I gotta think about that one.
Okay,
Go.
I guess I'll go. My parents never really explained that I had HLHS. My mom always says that I kind of already knew. Like, always knew my entire life. The only time that I really freaked out about it was when I did a research paper on it and saw all the death statistics and freaked out. That's basically it. And then, what was the second part?
So how did you prepare for living with HLHS? Is there anything you wish they had done differently?
I don't know if it was my parents per se, but if there was more camps like there is now,
Oh my gosh.
that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Because the first person I met who has HLHS was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, in
I was
person.
23
So,
when I met my
yeah.
CHU.
I kind of wish there was more camps around when I was younger, so I
Yep.
wouldn't wait till last year
Exactly.
to meet somebody.
Well, I knew a lot of people from CHC, but I didn't know HLH.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's what I was specifically searching for. Like I was on YouTube,
Mhm.
I was on Facebook, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, recently, I
Mhm.
started finding you guys. So here we are.
Yeah. So what about you?
Okay. My parents were awesome. I had a heart problem. It wasn't, this is a heart problem, this is extremely serious, and da-da-da-da. It was, you have a heart problem, and guess what? You need to drink a lot of water. And I think that the daily routine that my mom kept and my dad kept with me, the daily medicine at 5 every day, or medicine in the morning, or it was that routine that has now transitioned me to go into college and then to live on my own. I've been living on my own for the past 5 years now. And just my mom saying, you're going to know your limitations. You're going to know when you push yourself. I was never stopped. I was never told to slow down or to sit down or to take a break.
Yep.
You
figured out.
Yeah, I
Yep,
figured it out
same
for
here.
myself. That whole idea of, I see a lot of parents already not disabling their kids, but like
Implanting ideas.
implanting ideas on, oh, well, I'm going to let them play for just a little bit, or he can only do this today, or she can do that. I don't think that there should be a restriction. At the end of the day, they're going to sit down when they need to sit down. They're going to take a drink when they need to take a drink. Yeah, my mom was awesome with that. The only thing I wish my mom did differently, which I told her this already, is that she put me into college extremely naive. And when I went into there, I was like, what is all of this? I was completely shocked by the way that other kids live their lives, per se. So I was completely shocked and a little bit taken aback from, I guess, the college scene. But that's completely fine because, once again, I taught myself. I already knew my limitations going into it because I knew that I had something wrong with me. I knew that I needed to watch myself. And I knew that I wasn't like everyone else. And water has been my best friend. Like, I can't express enough how much water is really important to us. Yeah.
The best thing my parents did, honestly, my mother was an extremely, very strong advocate for me. Same thing. There was really no limitations. There wasn't like you can or can't do this. It was just like, go play with your brothers. Okay, so I'm gonna go play football. I'm gonna go play basketball. I'm gonna go play in the mud and eat worms. I'm gonna go I'm gonna do everything. And you know, I don't know. I wasn't told. I just did what I did and figured out my own limits. And and as far as like standing up for me in hospitals and, you know, speaking for me in doctors' offices and stuff. I mean, my mom was freaking amazing, and she just, I don't know, she was just on it. And she had everything figured out because emotionally, I'm just going to speak for myself right now, but emotionally, I wasn't there mentally to be able to figure out all the physical things that was wrong with me because I couldn't emotionally deal with it. So it's really amazing to have a strong advocate who isn't emotionally falling apart. I love, but I hate it that my mom never really cried in front of me when I was younger, but it held me together. And, you know, it was like crying in the car and crying at home. But in the doctor's offices and stuff, like, I always knew that she was my rock in there. And that if I was confused or scared or whatever, like, she would hold it together. And she just never, like, I don't know, just gave me any, like, bad, I don't know, limitations or anything. Anything wish you'd done differently, I don't really have an answer for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, my mom she was very loving and supportive, and even though she barely spoke any English, she, they try to help her as best as they could at the hospitals, and she was there to every appointment, everything. She didn't have enough resources though. Back then. So the thing that she did put limitations on me. And she would tell me, oh, you can't do that. Or, you gotta be careful with this. So I was kind of in a little bubble. And, and I don't hate her for that. I love my mom. But, I wish that I could have tried a little bit more. Because maybe now as an adult, then, I wouldn't be as apprehensive or be like, oh, I gotta ask my cardiologist for every little thing. So, that's the only thing. And then, I guess that's what I feel like she could have done different, and also the camp thing, because I would have liked to have met more of you guys earlier on and have that bond,
Yeah. I remember specifically, I was 12 years old, sitting in my random checkup, and me and my mom were like, is there anyone else in the world that Stephanie can meet or play with or what? And he said his exact words were, I'm not allowed to tell you that. And that just ate at me for years, because then I would walk out of the doctor's offices and I would see pictures of, hundreds of CHDers, and all I needed was their name and phone number, and it was just like, I knew they existed somewhere out there in the world.
Right? It's like, where?
Where are you? Yeah. And so it's so different now. It's awesome. What about you? How did your parents?
Well, my parents were awesome. My mom supported me in the first part of all the surgeries. My dad was not there, but then my stepdad came in, and he actually became my true dad. They supported me every single way. If I ever wanted to do something, they would let me do it. They showed me my limitations, and I respect that. And then the moment my dad was like, do you want to join Boy Scouts? I was like, yes. And to be honest with you, in Boy Scouts, the troop is also your family. Troop 293 was my family. And my other family. Everyone respected me. Everyone knew the limits. And if anything could have changed, nothing would have changed.
I think we all come from very, very strong mothers, and and
Mom's rock.
Recently, how you guys said you stay strong. When they first brought up the new surgery that they wanted to give me, my mom was in tears.
Of course,
yeah.
Which was understandable, but I'm sitting here like, how do I stay strong?
Right, because now the tables have turned a little bit, and now it's like, I want to be strong for you, and you don't have to be that strong for me anymore. You're allowed to cry now. You're allowed to you're safe. Like, I'm not dying. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna need a surgery or something, but I'm gonna be here, and you can. I want to be strong for her now. When things go wrong. Right. So. I don't know, sometimes I get a lot of comments and a lot of messages and stuff about, we all understand that you guys don't have a break right now if you have a child with CHD. All of our mothers lived through this too. Single mother, or a mother with, a husband who worked all the time, or a husband who helped. Either way, it's a struggle. Emotionally, physically, mentally. My mom was fired, I think, from 3 different jobs because she had a sick child. She had to start her own in-home daycare.
My mom did too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Just to be able to pay her bills and stay home with her sick baby.
Well, no one would take me in.
And no daycares would take us. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Lots of layers.
I remember the times when my mom actually had to work at a hospital, and my grandpa would pick me up from the hospital. I don't know how I remember it, but like I always remember it clearly where I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting for my grandpa to come pick me up while my mom's still at the hospital working. And it's like one of those memories where it's like, man, she was supportive.
Yeah.
Everyone was supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are always doing enough, you know? I mean, as
Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of times they don't feel like they're doing enough, or they're
yeah.
not, or they're doing something wrong, or, you know.
When they're not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was an awesome question. So another question we got was about planes, like being on airplanes and altitude and stuff. So,
I flew here.
I flew
Yeah.
here too.
Me too.
I've been on airplanes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
The
I
altitude does affect all of our O2 levels.
Yeah.
drink tons of fluid prior to a flight.
I don't
Also, if
think
you
I've
have
ever
motion
had any problems
sickness, take some pills.
Really?
with it. Yeah.
That's what I
I
did.
did fine with planes. The only thing that's gone wrong was like my ear. I'm like, yeah. What you say?
And I've flown long distance across over to Europe and back, no issues. I did that when I was younger. I was about 12 years old when I did that flight to Paris and then a flight back from London. So long distance is fine. I've been cleared for trips to Australia and so forth and so forth. Yeah, lots of fluids because you do get dehydrated when you're
yeah.
up there.
Mhm.
So just to keep the fluid inflow.
And pump yourself full of vitamin C, or your child full of
Yeah.
vitamin C.
Lots of OJ and water.
Yeah. Yep. Cold weather and like the color of your skin that changes, and cold
Yes.
weather, and
Well, it's not generally just cold weather too.
It's hot weather too.
And water. Like if you're in a pool and water's cold,
Oh, yeah.
you're going purple quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was called a Smurf.
Yeah, I feel like all of them have had coloring issues.
Yeah, we all talked about that today.
I am always hot.
Who's-
Always.
I'm always hot.
Her and
I'm
I
always
are always
hot.
I would
cold.
rather
like
be
a
cold.
furnace. Yeah, I'd rather be
cold.
freezing. In the freezing cold, I have noticed, especially this winter, I live in Philadelphia, walking back and forth to class or around the city, it's harder to walk in the ice cold because it's harder to get that significant deep breath.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
In the heat,
Even worse.
it is rough, but I played sports in the heat, like tennis. I've had 2-a-days starting in the summer, where I've been okay. I think I just get acclimated to it after being in it a while. Obviously, the first half day of the summer is difficult, but I'm never to the point where I'm sick or not feeling well. Over exertion, like running or sports in the heat or in the cold, will result in me like I get green or white, kind of pasty, but
Yeah.
nothing where I'm like, you need to take
Never
me to the hospital.
fainted.
Yeah, I've never fainted. I've never passed
No.
out. No. Anything?
Oh, me? Oh, sorry.
The reason I brought up
Yeah, I
the
turned blue
Me.
You brought up the ring.
Yeah, I'm green.
when I'm cold, when I'm really mad, when I'm really sad, and when I'm laughing. Like, a lot. Like, I mean, laughing so hard I'm about to pee my pants, I turn blue. And, like, my nails and all that stuff.
But sometimes it's actually you're just plain flat normal if your fingernails turn purple.
Yeah.
This one, my cardiologist said, he's like, if it's purple, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had that.
So there's like no worries on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't happen for, like, years, though.
Mhm.
This just started happening again,
Yeah.
like, over the past, whatever, couple years or something. Okay, let's see. Operations and recovery length. That you wrote down.
Yeah, I
But-
saw the question pop up on
Okay.
one of the Facebook pages.
Okay.
And a lot of the answers were pretty similar. It was after the operation, how long is recovery length in the hospital? And some would range from about 2 weeks to a month. Depends on what
Depends on the kid
and the surgery.
and the surgery. Yeah.
And the staff.
And the surgeon.
Correct.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Depends on
Oh,
everything.
girl, don't get me started on that. Let's see. And what was this one that you read about?
The fear of scars.
Oh. Okay, so.
We basically already brought this
I guess-
up.
yeah, we kind of already talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, you're gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have
Easy
to.
words.
As a woman, I can't speak for you, but as a woman, a scar who's maturing and growing up, it's kind of like, why does this have to be right
Yeah,
here?
right here.
It's
Right,
really
of all the spaces.
in an inconvenient spot. You learn to love it.
Well, during like the
And
middle
that's
school
it.
times when we actually had to change into gym,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gym class.
I was nervous wreck to take off my shirt.
Mhm.
I was a
Which
nervous
we
wreck.
all
You were what?
A nervous wreck
An
until
nervous
like
wreck to take off your shirt.
until like high school. I'm like, yeah, cool, let's take it off.
Yeah, I think we all were talking about that earlier. We used to like change the
Change in the
bathroom
bathroom.
stalls or up against the wall
Yes.
because you're different and you don't want to be different in high school. You just want to fit in and be like everyone else. And
Yep.
I mean, you grow out of it, but
I'd go into like a corner locker.
yeah.
Have my back to everyone, just take my shirt off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This at one dance I wore a dress that showed my back scar. And I was just like hanging out with my friends and one guy says, Romer, did you know that you have this giant scar on your back?
No.
Do you guys ever get that?
Yeah.
I'm like, no way, where? Like, are you serious? Where
Play
did
the
this
game with them. What's
did
going
it come
on?
Are you sure?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we talked about bruising and tattoo. Okay, in school, what about school? I mean, as far as college or high school, or what were the
there are
questions
a lot-
regarding to?
Yeah, there's some really. I see a lot of questions like, are you allowed to pursue education farther
Yeah.
in high school?
Right.
Are you mentally capable? Are you pretty much asking, am I smart enough to go to college?
Yeah.
And I actually did a video on my channel.
Same.
There's a video specifically dedicated to learning disabilities.
Yeah.
That was actually done by research.
What is
One of the
CHD has
CHD
learning
friends of mine who did research at Berkeley and UCLA and stuff. And so we do in the CHD community we do have a lot of learning disabilities, memory problems.
Yeah.
Down syndrome is
Yeah.
very prevalent. Autism is very prevalent.
Just the inability to keep up.
It's
social,
due to the lack of
Right.
oxygen in
Oxygen.
our brain.
Oxygen.
Yeah, which I mean, none of us have this issue, but we do see it a lot. So I often get asked on my blogs or questions about the videos, like, pretty much, can you go to school? And I was never homeschooled.
No.
I went to public school. I got my bachelor's, then got my master's. So yeah, there's absolutely no issue.
But the only thing that becomes a problem at some schools is our energy level.
Yeah.
That was
Exactly,
mine.
and that's what
That
happened
was
with me.
the only thing.
That was-
Because I was
yeah.
doing
That really
Mentally and
school,
physically.
work,
Mm-hmm.
wife, mom.
Emotionally.
Yeah, it just became too much, and then I was I was in a community college forever, so that didn't help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you stop and you go and you stop
Yeah.
and you. I was like, it was so. What's the word? Like it wasn't motivating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just like if you don't see any progress either, and you feel
Yeah.
like I'm like emotionally and just physically drained, like I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah, and I think that's also like us learning our balance again.
yeah.
I think that was probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned that showed that I actually have HLHS's junior year of college. Undergrad was probably like the most difficult year. I was working ridiculous hours upon taking 6 classes,
Wow.
and I developed like really bad, like my tonsils became really enlarged. I became like, so I actually had to get my tonsils removed that summer because I was
Wow.
suffering from sleep apnea because I was getting, like, I was exhausting myself.
Exhausting too much.
And I did too much, and then that's the result, which, you know, completely are awesome. After I got the tonsils out, I can go right back to work. But then that's when we all talk about coffee and our love for coffee.
Yeah.
We drink coffee, and we are really not supposed to.
And
We're limited to 1 cup a day.
I
That's
drink
not coffee.
a lot.
Biggest cup of coffee, which I've cut out coffee. but
One
it's-
giant cup. Yeah, we will have 1 cup.
1 cup. But yes, coffee was a best friend during college because it got me through my days, which we were talking about. We have 16, 17-hour days. We're getting 5 hours of sleep, and then we're doing the same thing all over again.
And eventually, I mean, you keep doing that for X amount of time. Every individual is different.
Yeah.
And then it builds up to you just have to crash. For me personally, I have to sleep for 1 to 3 days. I mean, solid. And if I'm not sleeping, like, I have to be laying down, just like chilling, at least for like 1 to 2 to 3 days. And then it is like, I feel like a brand new person. Seriously, it's awesome. But it's also, you know, it takes time out of your your whole schedule, keeping a consistent schedule anyway.
Yeah.
And something I talked about on my video with the learning disabilities is with CHD, I didn't know that was affiliated at all. I never even thought low oxygen with the brain and being like, I don't know, I just never put all of that together until I met like all these CHDers and started talking more. And so with that comes, I didn't ever talk about anything. I didn't ask for help. I knew that I was struggling, but I legitimately, like on a deep level, thought I was stupid. I was just like, I'm just a very stupid person.
Yeah.
And I'm just one of those people in the world, and I just have to accept it that I can't learn what everybody else is learning.
Yeah.
And so I just dropped out.
Or even at the pace that they're learning.
And at the pace that they're learning. So obviously, in my mind, I was like, okay, so this isn't meant for me because I can't keep up and I can't learn all of these things right. And when really it was like, oh, because disabled services and tutors, I just saw the people in wheelchairs doing that. So I was like, well, then I thought that was only for people in wheelchairs. And I know that sounds stupid, but
if you see it, that's what you're going to
if that's how you see it, yeah. And again, I didn't, this was 10 years ago also, so things have changed a lot. But so, let's see. I guess that's like all of our questions right now. Do you guys have any other questions that you guys get?
We did
like
it.
on the
did
rig?
Our hour.
Yeah.
I know that was a full hour.
That was a full hour of awesome questions.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for all of your questions
Yeah.
and support. And yeah, hey.
Anybody that's coming tomorrow to the symposium,
Yes.
send us a message.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'd love to talk with you guys.
Yeah.
I guess for the people that came a little bit later, tuned in later, I guess we can repeat who we are and where we're from.
Oh, yeah.
And we can end the video like such.
Read that question.
Oh, we got a question.
Okay, my son fell off the bed and hit his chest. Has this happened to anyone else? Should I take him to the ER? He's post-Fontan, almost 5 years old. If his scar is cut open,
For sure.
definitely take him. I mean, we're wired or stapled shut, so.
Well, if you can call your cardiologist, which I have done many times.
Oh, or email, yeah.
Call them or email them, and they get back to you.
Yep.
Yeah, they get back to
They'll get back to you fast.
They don't-
Any breaking the scar is pretty serious.
Yeah.
So if you ever do anything bad, make sure you
If-
get that fixed.
At
Yeah,
least
if it's just
call.
bleeding though, if it's just bleeding, then if it's
I'd
not
still
cut
call
open,
and
then
just tell them,
It does look great.
just so they know.
yeah. I mean, my scar gets inflamed and
Yeah.
scratchy and turns purple sometimes, but it's never. I mean, and it scratches to the point of where it bleeds, but not like cut open. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, we've
so
talked about that on my
introductions
other
again.
days. Oh, okay. Go for it.
I'm Megan, 25. I almost said I was 24. I have HLHS, TGA, and VSD, and I'm currently working on my master's in child and adolescent development.
I'm Chelsea. I'm 23. I'm from Philly. I just finished my master's in finance, and I'm looking for a job somewhere on Wall Street. Go for it.
I'm Alex. I'm 19. I'm from Cincinnati. I also now live in Destin, Florida, which is the best place ever. And I'm currently working and also trying to get my bachelor's in psychology.
And what are your defects? Just HLH.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, just,
And all I got is HLHS.
yeah, same here. Just HLHS, a little bit of cirrhosis, and some scoliosis.
Oh my god. Okay, I have I'm Stephanie. Stephanie Romer. I have HLHS, TGA, ASD, VSD, severe mitral stenosis, cardiac-induced cirrhosis of the liver, and bradycardia. After that, I don't remember the rest. What was next?
Wait,
Your age?
I'm 29.
What do you do?
And I write a lot. I will eventually be a writer one day. I mean, I am technically a writer already.
Blogger.
Researching, writing, and then the product will be when I'm 40. So,
Okay. Hi, I'm Ardelis. I am 32. I have HLHS, TGA, DORV, and just to let you guys know, you can always Google those acronyms or
Yes.
just ask us privately
Yes.
because I know some people are like,
What?
Because if we say it out completely, then
Like
you still
me.
be like, what? So,
Well, all general, we all have hypoplastic left heart.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the main
Hypo.
common. Yeah, and then currently I work at a car dealership. Just doing administrative work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Bye.
Alex.